Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Reality Kingdom, where we drag all the girls. Now, this is gonna be a good one, y'all.
This is gonna be a good one.
I've been waiting for this one.
A long awaited one. This was needed a while back. Week one.
This needed a long time ago, a long time ago. So as you see today, we will be dragging. Ooh, I almost said something. We will be dragging Monty,
that man,
loser at that man,
that second place,
loser. The first loser is who we'll be dragging today. So let's just go ahead and get into his ass, his nasty ass. This will be a long one because this man has a lot of shit to say. Not only is he disturbed, not only is he just unhinged, not only is he terrible, dents in the head, dents in the bread. It's just a lot going on. Let's go ahead and get into it. So Monty, very quickly, you realize that he's one of those
coons.
Right.
The coon chip was activated very early in Monty. If you've been paying attention to this season, you probably already know this, but let's just go over the bullshit that he helped transpire week one of this game. Monty stands, go ahead and tune out now. I know there are a few birds who have hitched themselves onto the Monty train. This video is not for women who are okay with men traumatizing them, okay? You can go ahead and leave, okay?
Yeah, bow out, babe.
Any men who feel like we're being anti-black men, any women who feel like we're being anti-black men,
bow out.
Yes, I am. And bow out.
No, that's right.
I don't like myself. I don't like my dad. Let me stop. Because they always get the comments, what about your dad? Fuck that nigga too.
I know that's the fuck right.
So anyway, week one, very early on, we realized that Monty in this season as a whole was not going to be very, cookout oriented because Taylor going to Monty on a level of, we're both black people in this game. We should have this level of just understanding with each other, because of the history of how black players have been treated in this game. She decides to drop a little tea. The winner of the season decides to drop a little tea on the person she beat at the end 8-1. And he stupidly, very dumbly, took this tea, which was that Paloma is targeting the guys. So you may want to go ahead and get closer to Paloma. This was a fact because Paloma was in fact targeting the men. But Monty refused to believe this black woman because he wanted to believe in Paloma.
Believe this white woman.
This white passing woman. That he felt like he just knew. He just knew in week one. I don't understand why Taylor would come to me with this information. I can't wrap my head. You're just gonna lie to me like that? So she instantly became the house pariah because of that. Because everyone felt like they had to go and protect their white passing queen, Paloma.
And Monty is one of those black men who prefer exotic women. Who prefer white women, who prefer non-black women, and that's uncomfy in its own right, and this was just a clear example of that. So he quite immediately not only prefers Paloma in every aspect of his life, but also believed Paloma over this black woman, which was also just very weird because he didn't know either of them to any capacity. This was day what, 2? This was not even days in.
And he was literally proven the next week that what Taylor had told him was the truth. It's just like you ran off of something and caused all of this hate and vitriol towards Taylor to just be increased. And people felt comfortable doing so because you, as this black man, gave them permission to.
So not only is Monty weird and a little bit colorist, but he is also a little bit misogynist. No, very misogynist. So in this moment, he felt that it was his duty to be one of Paloma's protectors, him and his best friend, Daniel. So this is when Daniel is the HOH and Daniel is deciding on whether to or not to nominate Taylor, who is going to blow up apparently about this. I don't know. Made no sense.
So scary.
Yeah. So Monty decided that it was his male duty to be the one to justify this to Daniel. So he goes up to Daniel and he has a very, very, very long conversation about how Taylor does not represent black women. She doesn't represent the black community. And honestly, Daniel, I give you the go-to as a black man to not only target this black woman, but to allow everyone else to continue this narrative that is going around about this black woman. You're right. She might blow up. We need to go ahead and nip this in the bud this week because backdooring her is going to be the best way because she's just going to scream and yell.
And then and the scary thing about that is because I remember thinking that first week, oh, when this gets back to like a Monty or a Terrence, like potentially this won't go too far because the beauty of the cookout last year, I remember there were times where the idea that Ozza may be seen as someone who's aggressive or just or confrontational that tried to get spread by Brent, and that was immediately shut down because the people who were running the game, the people that were in power, were the POC players, and they knew who Ozza was. And I just felt like, that was the beauty behind the cookout. That is what the cookout was kind of implemented for, so Black players could play and be able to express themselves the way they want to. But Monty, to then hear the information of her being aggressive and that she will blow up, these things that we all know as Black people and many POC, or have just a good understanding that those type of words do not need to be described to describe a Black woman at all, a Black person in general, but specifically a Black woman, because those words are directly used to tear down Black women every day in society. So the fact that he used that exact same verbiage in describing to a white man the reason as to why she needed to go up, I remember that week Dane was walking around like, oh, I'm so scared to have two Black people on the block. Like the optics of that look so weird. And here you go, Monty's like, it's fine, it's okay, like that's not what the season's about. It's not about race. And it's like, it's so insane because strategically it was terrible because Terrence and Taylor were both people that were numbers for Monty, dumbass, which is why he was sitting in fucking second place, losing 8-1. But it's just like, as a Black person, how are you so comfortable with these type of stereotypes to be pushed on a Black woman? And then the fact that he's having a conversation with another Black man, Terrence, the tap dancer. If you haven't watched that video, check it the fuck out. But to have conversations calling her a bitch, saying that she perpetuates every negative stereotype for a Black woman. Y'all are Black men. Okay? How the fuck you gonna sit up here on national television and say how a Black woman is supposed to act, how any woman is supposed to act for that matter? And that's the shit that just like, it just really infuriates me, because it's like, when are the Black men gonna step up and protect their Black women and Big Brother? Like,
when?
Period. When the fuck are you gonna stand the fuck up and protect their Black women?
And all of y'all.
No, because you see how the motherfucker Kyle had Alyssa's back this whole time. Alyssa wasn't brought into any alliance with Kyle, and he stood 10 toes down for Alyssa.
11.
He was ready to throw his whole entire game away for her, and we can never get that for the Black women in the game. And it's just so fucking bullshit, because you have, and it's so weird because there were literal conversations between Terrence and Monty and Jasmine and Amira about how we are Black people and we have these understandings and we should work together, but Taylor isn't a part of that. Sick. It's weird, and it's very disturbing.
Very, very disturbing. I fully 100% agree. Because like you said, one of the reasons Alyssa made it, the only reason Alyssa made it as far as she did, is because she had protection from her Black racist brethren, Kyle. And it's like, why can't we have that same type of energy within our community, especially without it being seen as, oh, we're trying to bring race into it, all this other shit. I'm not even gonna get into that because y'all are stupid for that, period. But y'all literally sit there and you Black men, you get in the game, you sit there and you add on to the misogyny within the community, because a lot of shit that Monty did, not only with Taylor, but just moving forward in the game, was just based on that. Because even the week after the Taylor bashing, he there's a situation between him, Amira, Nicole, all of that situation. And it is game. But the concept of women working together in this game is just seen as just the scariest thing to these men. And it's rooted in misogyny. And I wouldn't be saying this had Monty proven anything otherwise, but he didn't. He spent the entire season proving that misogyny will always win. That's the reason he lost. Because he thought sitting next to a woman would be more beneficial to him than sitting next to a man. And that was the only criterion. And it's like, you are a misogynist, period, point blank. So he spends the season, after he set Taylor up, bashed her. The only reason that he decided to work with Taylor in any capacity was because of misogyny. So it's like, you went from being colorist, anti-Black women, to just being a misogynist, and now you're trying to use Taylor because all of the girls hate Taylor. So then he decided to use Taylor in being in the leftovers. And this is when we get the era in which he's apologizing, allegedly. I want to make it very clear. We definitely
need to speak on this.
Let's make it very clear. For you birds, if you didn't leave... If you didn't leave when we told you to leave, and we might clip this. If you didn't leave when we told you to leave, then listen up, babe. When Monty apologized,
Monte said, calling
on the birds. So to the birds, When Monty apologized, he's quite specifically only apologized for his treatment with Taylor about Paloma. Mind you, he essentially goes back on that apology later in the season because he mentions it again. But anyways, when he does apologize, he apologizes specifically about the Paloma situation. Did you just hear all of the shit we talked about? It was not just the Paloma situation. He had conversations with Terrence, Nicole, Daniel. He had multiple sentences, multiple words coming out of his mouth that said aggressive, blow up. She's a B word. All of these things, he did not apologize for those things. He apologized for believing Paloma over Taylor, and that was all. So to this day, what we know is that he only apologized for that.
And some of you bitches took up there and took that and said, oh, well, no, he apologized for everything. He clearly loves her. It's no big deal. Like, he's apologetic. And it's like, I never trusted that shit. Because one, I saw the apology my damn self on live feeds. It's crazy how y'all sit up there and have live feeds and update live feeds and don't know what the fuck is happening on live feeds. Because when did he ever in the apology mention the bullshit that he said about her as a black woman?
Didn't.
And the trauma that he helped and caused to her in this game. And it's like, you would think that was really his redemption arc for a lot of people. And it's crazy because 2 weeks before he even got into this Stockholm ass fucking showmance with her, he's with Terrence once again, calling her condescending, calling her cold when Terrence is calling her a sellout because she doesn't want to do with this bullshit ass family reunion thing. Monty's over here with him like, yeah, you know, some people, they're not confident in themselves and they have all of this past trauma that they reflect on other people, on other men. And it's like, he knows so much about women. Like, that's so interesting. Like, Monty, how do you know so much about women, babe? Do you have a labia majora sitting up in them pants, babe? Like, because
maybe a labia minora.
One of them, I'm confused. Like, how do you know how a black woman is supposed to behave? How do you know all of these traumas and things? And then in that conversation, he's alluding to Taylor, as if he knows her life, as if he knows who she's been through, as if he knows her friendship and how she actually is outside of this house.
1.5 weeks before starting this fling with her. And so let's get into it. There was no apology. We told y'all what the apology was about.
He sat up there and continued to talk shit about her throughout the season.
Period. So 1.5, if you want to call it that, 1.5 weeks before this showmance, like Lee said, he was continuing on his talking shit. When the showmance started, he quickly folded a little bit and he went towards Taylorland for a week and a half. And throughout that week, the uncomfort level that I felt was through the roof because all of the things we mentioned that he said, he is not proven to think any differently because a week and a half before he was continuing the conversations with Terrence. So it's like, what's going on, sir? You're very, very weird. But when he entered this relationship, it really just reminded me of real life situations within the Black community. We get Black men all the time who have a preference for a Paloma and Alyssa. Feels like they're a little bit more beautiful. They bash these Black women. They say all of these negative things. They call them a bitch. They call them ugly. They're not that cute. They're cold. They're aggressive. They're going to blow up. I would never date her. I need to teach her how to be as a woman. And then you still get in a relationship with them. That's scary. Because a situation like that could lead to all of those actual feelings that you have said and vocalized about her coming to fruition within the relationship, you causing a toxic environment within this relationship. And a lot of you bitches, I remember mentioning that he was attempting a relationship with her and y'all tried to say, he's not, he's just no, bitch. He clearly said, we are going to expose this relationship at finale at that time. Like, why are y'all trying to defend this man?
But that's the thing. But then the same people switched up and was like, oh my God, they're so cute together. I think they're really going to grow from this. Right. I mean, I saw people like saying like, oh my God, this is Black love. I love to see it. And I understand that. I definitely want to see more Black showmances on television.
But this is not the one.
You know, the last one we had was Swaggy and Bailey, and they were beautiful. We wanted it last season, but you know, some of the men were into exotic women. So it's just like we cannot sit up here and enforce these things. That was not a healthy situation. And he proved that because when one little small inconvenience happened, which was the Headstone situation, he used that and tried to flip it all on her. He turned one simple, isolated situation into, well, now you deserve the hate that you got this whole season because of how you act.
Maybe Daniel and Nicole were right. for going off on you. Maybe Daniel and Nicole were right. Maybe Paloma was right because
after apologizing to her, now they were right, and now you deserve that treatment that you got because of the way you act.
And now I'm going to have a conversation with you about yourself and tell you about
sick. And the fact that he sat up there and did that shit, and y'all are still sitting up here trying to support that man and defend that man. He just tried to gaslight this confident, beautiful winner. And y'all sitting here like, well, I just don't think he doesn't understand. I think he's just upset. Like, no. This is a toxic,
maybe Taylor was kind of being
man. And he tried to perpetuate his insecurities onto her. And I loved how even when he tried to do that, because he essentially said in that moment, you're very condescending and cold when you're in power and you feel safe, because she was HOH at the moment. And he felt like the headstone taking was something that was condescending and cold, and her jokes are not as nice. And when she's in danger in the game, she's more warm, she's more open, she's more vulnerable. That's a pattern with Monty throughout the season. He wants her to be vulnerable with him. And it's like, first of all, why do you need a woman to be vulnerable with you? Especially when she's the HOH. She doesn't have to be vulnerable. She's very confident. And does that offend you? Does that make you feel like you're less of a man?
That's why he likes exotic women. He wants someone who's going to fold themselves, who is going to create this passive role for him, for their man. And a lot of you bird bitches might do that. However,
a lot of people are way too okay with it, because he got up out the room and she was like, okay, here we go. I'm the bitch again, child. Right. Ooh, Lord, I guess just roll the motherfucking tapes. I'm the biggest bitch in the motherfucking game. Like, and then even in the DR, she was like, I'm not worried about Monty or his motherfucking feelings. I'm worried about that bag. And she motherfucking got it.
And she got that bag.
So he really tried to gaslight her and make her feel like less of a person. Make her feel like you need to act this way or you're gonna get this treatment. That's not how you treat people. That's not how you treat people with respect either. And I love the fact that even after that situation, he tried to show her, I'm gonna take my things out of here. He told her, I don't think we should continue this and all this other weird shit. Back in her room the next day, back smiling in her face, back trying to cuddle, all this other shit. Well, I want to meet your grandma. I want to do this. I want to do this. It's just like, baby, do you like her or do you not? Or do you want to be her? I really don't know. He
wants to be her, and that's the issue. And to a lot of you people who agreed with Monty in this situation, we already have addressed the fact that you're weird, but let me just clear up the fact as to why it is not something to be agreeing with. What he did was he indicated a very minute and a very specific situation and put that onto Taylor's entire personality and said that every negative thing that happened to her was deserved because of this situation. So when you sit here and agree with the fact that Taylor was acting some certain type of way in that moment, you're also agreeing with all the other statements that Monty said, essentially, when he said that caused all of her bashing, all of her hatred, her getting yelled at by that dirty man Daniel, her getting treated like an aggressive person, all of the isolation. You're agreeing with all of that bullshit because what he's essentially implying is that her literal personality, who she is, needs to be fixed. He sat there, he went up to her HOH room and said, let's have a conversation about who you are as a person. Literally. Your entire existence as a human is incorrect, Taylor. You existing is wrong. Literally. Let's fix this.
He sat in that woman's face and told her, I have been
y'all
watching you. And y'all agree. And he sat there and he said, I have been watching you this entire summer, and I just this is the observation that I'm making. You don't have to agree, but this is the observation that I'm making. Not once did he take accountability for any of the shit he has said and done this entire game. And like that's how it is with a lot of men. They feel like the woman has to change. The woman has to be different. I'm how I am because I am a man. I'm a high value man, and I'm someone that like women are gonna want. And he essentially spoke to her as if, you want me, so you need to change this about you if you're going to be with me. And it's like, babe, she doesn't need or want you because she's
or your non-existing hairline, the back of your neck, babe. You're nothing, really. She has Joseph right there.
A lawyer.
We don't need you.
That actually cares about her.
Who's not a horrible person. Who doesn't hate black women. I don't know. Like, there's better options.
The thing is, I think he tricks people. I think he tricked other people, but he also tricks himself, because then he has those moments and then he comes back around and we get kind of to the final two moment. He essentially wants to go to the final two with Taylor because, he said it from the beginning. That's why he had a final two with Amira. He wants to sit next to a strong black woman. I honestly feel like now seeing the whole entire season, that's more of an image thing. And the fact that Taylor was the last black woman there, that was a plus for him. You know what I mean? I don't think that I can believe the idea of sitting next to a black woman was huge for him because obviously as a black person, that's huge in general. But it's like, you can't have that emotion and then cause the trauma that you did to this black woman the whole season. And I'm not going to forget about it. I know some of y'all would love to, but I'm not going to forget about it.
I won't let y'all.
I don't give a damn that he took her and she won. Congratulations.
This is the issue.
That was going to happen regardless. You were just a piece in mother's game. But it's like, you're not forgiven for that. You're not, no.
Here's my issue with him wanting to take a black woman to the end. First of all, I don't believe him. But secondly, my issue with it is that he doesn't want to take a black woman to the end. He wants to beat a black woman in the end. The only reason he was so comfortable with it is because it was a woman. Because he felt like he was going to win. He was only wanting to take Taylor because he thought he was going to win. If he was not a misogynist and if he wasn't a high value man who thought lesser of women, he would have not have felt comfortable taking Taylor to the end, and he probably would not have. It was not because she was a black woman. It's because he thought she could win because she was a woman and she was also black. Like Lee said, it was an image thing, because if you genuinely cared about black women, you would have cared back then when Dale and Nicole were going off. Why is it when Dale and Nicole was screaming at this woman, where were you? If you care about black women?
That's the thing. He said to Taylor with the headphone situation, I don't take kindly to disrespect, but when you let this 6'2" man yell in this woman's face and blame her for this woman literally getting cracked out and leaving, you are silent.
You took very kindly to it, actually.
It's so crazy because when Kyle got exposed for the racism, it's so interesting because you see people like Terrence and Monty who are so affected and are so offended. But it's like, how do you sit there and are able to recognize what Kyle did is wrong, but you're not able to recognize the bullshit that you perpetuated as well, the colorism, the misogyny that you took part into, especially on a black woman? It's just like, I don't see how you can see that. And it's like his ego is definitely hurt because he took her thinking that he was going to win based on these bullshit ass competition wins. And Taylor got taken and she ate him the fuck up. One of the best final speeches in history.
I know he hurt.
Blew out 8-1. Mama's won the game in America's Favorite Player. I know that ego is shattered. And it's funny because even in the post-season interviews, he tried to play it up like, oh, well, clearly, her speech was just better and she was probably able to convince the women and da-da-da-da. No, babe. They had to tell him. They were decided at the round table. They considered your competition's wins. They didn't care. They knew you took Taylor. They didn't care because it didn't mean anything. It didn't mean anything to them.
Sure. Yeah, he's just overall horrible person. Not a fan. I'm just not. I'm just not a fan. And you guys who are fans, I'm very disappointed. Honestly, especially if you're black.
I just don't understand the switch up because it's different from we just loved Taylor in the beginning and certain things in the game happened and you guys switched to Monty, but it was very personable, very colorism involved, misogyny involved, a lot of anti-black statements were made, and the fact that y'all can ignore that because I guess the way he looks, I guess the imagination you have in your mind with him.
He's never gonna want you. He likes white women. I'm sorry, he does. And Jimmy Monte bitches who reported our channel, we're still here.
Yeah. Because
we know it's y'all. Y'all thought we didn't know. Y'all thought we thought it was the Kyle people. The whites not worried about us. They're on Facebook. It was you bitches. It was you weird Monte stance. Babe, Monty lost the game. He lost the girl. He lost the money. He lost his job, hopefully. Like, I don't know what to tell you.
Well, he don't have a job. He had Instagram.
Oh, he didn't have a job.
Fitness trainer. That's the thing.
Jobless.
Taylor leveled up so nasty. $800,000 richer, a lawyer, a man. I just feel like, I mean, what did Monty?
And Monty's a boy.
Other than colorism.
Other than hating black women, he's so weird. And you bitches really staring him? Ew, yuck. Ew. I'm the Terminator. It's top flick. I'm gonna have to terminate.
I remember saying like this season cannot end with a Monty win. Like
and it did now.
Taylor was the perfect cherry on top because he didn't deserve it. But I feel like he lost in the most beautiful way because he never imagined sitting next to that woman and losing. He didn't. You can't tell me he didn't. You could tell just by his demeanor, the way he said that little bullshit ass speech, the way he answered them little ass questions. Like,
do you want to vote for this type of winner or me, a man?
It doesn't feel like he practiced it. I think that's how locked he thought it was. Embarrassing. And he lost. Mm-hmm. Eat it up, Ma. 8-1.
As he should have lost. After postseason, I don't know what he's doing because I don't give a fuck. But if I see him with a Daniel Durston, with a Nicole,
well, the thing is, most of them are at Todrick House. So and
as a group,
I know Taylor has said in interviews, and I know he has said too, they are around each other because they're all in LA. But I don't think it's buddy. Okay. And we don't know that because we've only heard her say that from the pre-jury. Nicole and Amira has apologized to her, and we know Jasmine and Indy have too. I don't believe any of the men have. I know. I don't think Turner has had that conversation. I hope he does after the backlash he got recently. But I don't think Monty has had that conversation. If he has, kudos to him. But I'm not shocked if he didn't because I think his ego is too big. And he has so much pride. He probably hurt. He got fucking sunned and friend zoned on national television in the same night.
And lost the game.
That was the sun part. She sunned the fuck.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
That was the sunning. Yeah, bitch. He got humbled, sunned, and friend zoned in one night. It was very embarrassing for him.
Yeah, it was.
He can go home hurt, mad, angry, sad.
Yeah, there's not much else to say about Nothing of a Man. I'm finished. Do you have any last comments on
I don't have much to say.
Monty the misogynist?
I'm just happy we don't have to talk about this
Monty the
terrible ass Kunti. I'm just happy we don't gotta talk about this terrible ass cast no more.
We're done, y'all. Woo! Woo! We're done. And with that, Taylor has won the game. Taylor has won the man. Taylor has won the money. Taylor's won the brand deals. Taylor's won the Lay's deals, bitch. Taylor's won everything. Taylor's the only winner. Taylor has won. Taylor is win. Taylor is that girl. Y'all are nobody.
Mother.
Bye. Bye, Monty. You lost. Bye.